If I were the Tsar of all musicians, I would come to power at a very difficult time for my people. There would be great strife between the engineers and the guitarists, between the DJs and the horn players. Lyricists would starve outside great publishing houses that refused to admit them. Orchestras would be in disarray as classicists and modernists struggled. Everywhere apathy would reign, as the youth would be mired in a sea of ignorance, having no appreciation of music prior to the pop tunes of the 1980s. I would question my own ability to lead my people to true greatness. But I would not succumb to despair. I would struggle forward with great musical willpower. If I were the Tsar of all musicians, I would decimate the guitarists, collectivize the bassists, and nationalize the drummers. School children would be trained in the pentatonic rather than the major scale. Churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples would be seized and converted into concert halls. Producers, managers, and web developers would join a great vocal choir and be forever banned from their previous professions. Classical violinists would be sent down to run live sound in dank nightclubs, and the sound guys from those clubs would join string sections and symphonies, playing the music of Mozart and Beethoven. In this way, I would end all divisions within society. If I were the Tsar of all musicians, cars would be eliminated. Instead, all members of society would buy high-quality condenser microphones and be given a uniform yet elaborate digital recording workstation for each home. Phones and the internet would be eliminated and MIDI would be used instead. Streetlights would be replaced with vintage amps of various eras, and trains would be replaced with Rhodes pianos, clavinets, Wurlitzers, and harpsichords. People leaving their homes would be forced to carry percussion with them. Guitarists policing the streets would punish those caught without their percussion, using glaringly dissonant, distorted electric guitar solos to inflict psychological damage. Different neighborhoods would be forced to specialize in distinct rhythms and modes, so that at the end of 5 years each neighborhood would produce a song that was the epitome of that mode and that rhythm. Glory would be ours. If I were the Tsar of all musicians, I would make you my Tsarina. It would not matter whether you wanted this. If you left to pursue residency at an opera company in another city, I would simply send the secret police to collect you. In time, you would come to share a bittersweet and melancholy love with me. Each morning we would awake to a firm embrace, a long kiss, and then depart to the living room where a quartet would await our instructions. All day long we would compose mournful dirges and ecstatic symphonies and odd time signatures with weird instruments. At night we would greet our ministers. Philip Glass would advise us on technical matters. Peter Gabriel would keep us abreast for what was needed for the defense of our musical empire, and David Byrne would serve as our ambassador to foreign nations, urging them to leave behind their backwards ways and join our revolution. At night, after gentle bell playing, we would sleep to the sound of peasants outside, running harmonic minor chord progressions in somber unity. We would dream of greater compositions and new performances to come. If I were Tsar of all musicians, the purges of hip-hop producers and web developers would leave our empire ill-defended against the onslaught of actors and authors seeking to invade our grand soundscape and destroy us. They would ruin our country, putting many vocalists and pianists to death. But in time, the sturdy musicians would develop the will to resist, though our feeble allies, the dancers and filmmakers, would arrive too late to help ease our suffering. After many tears would be shed, our horn sections would lambast the invaders, driving them back, while bassoonists and clarinetists attacked their flanks, leaving the villains to perish in a chromatic winter of which normal Roman numeral analysis would not be possible. The musicians would emerge grim but triumphant, with a greater knowledge of voice leading, and the world's finest sense of syncopation, and what constitutes solid harmonic progression. It would be total victory. If I were Tsar of all musicians, my final act would be to build a city in the sky, incorporating the finest musicians of all the world's cities, and supported by engineers within the city's core, who would never see the light of day as they would never leave their studios. Peace would be brought to the Middle East as the sovereignty of the Jerusalem String Quartet was extended over the entire region. Los Angeles and all other places where innovation is stifled would be wiped from the face of the earth after the session musicians had been evacuated. Wars would cease as timpani hits replaced bloodshed, and sexual neuroses would fade away as harmonics and perfect tuning brought ease to the primal urges of every man, woman, and child. All this I would see in my lifetime, and you and yours, Alexandra, if I were the Tsar of all musicians.